guys. In today's video, we're going to do something interesting. Yeah, something interesting. And in today's video, we will look into a scenario in which Spain and Morocco go to war. And as you can tell, Spain is going to declare war because that's the only way I see it happening. And it breaks out into war. Because it does. Every war will escalate. Because that's how wars work. They all just escalate. With Spain quickly establishing naval dominance by Morocco. Which is something. Before Morocco then starts mobilizing, but by the time they mobilize, they have already lost this coast. Which is not very great for Morocco, but then again, this is all mountain, basically. So, yeah. And yeah, Morocco's navy is mobilized, which they quickly do this with. But Spain quickly decides they've had enough with being encircled and do that. And then in the north, they mobilize their navy. But they don't do much with it. And while quickly after establishing naval dominance in the Strait of Gibraltar in nearby vicinity, the first Spanish troops crossed the border. Wait, what? How did they cross the border? They don't even border each other. Land in northern Morocco, and they take over the coast. But Morocco, we have to remember, is not a weak country under any logistical standpoint. And yeah, logistically, Spain is probably in trouble with the U.S. Yeah, they probably have no relations left with the U.S. Which is a problem. But it doesn't stop them from pushing forces into the north. Yeah. Yeah, and so they continue their force buildup in the waters, which is not good for Morocco as they storm into Morocco. Morocco is still mobilizing, but Spain has numerical superiority, I think. Spain has 47, so Spain does have numerical superiority. But is Spain probably mobilizing as hired? No, because they probably aren't. And yeah, they're probably there trying to get Algeria to help them. Which seems tempting to Algeria. But really, you have just completely destroyed your relations with America. Chances are America has already joined this war on the side of Morocco because Morocco is their friends. And as we know, the Americans are something unpredictable. They didn't support some of their allies in, like, civil wars. Sometimes fought against allies. With Spain quickly establishing Algerian alignment. But, as we know, Spain is not in a good spot. As America has joined. With Algeria mobilizing and moving its forces to the border. Which they then use to cross into Morocco. Yeah. Cut these lands off. And Algeria stormed through here along with Spain. But Morocco does heave some resistance, especially down here. But even here they try to resist. They know America is going to arrive. Algeria starts sending, and Spain, as many forces as they can into Morocco. Which is not really a great idea. With it looking like Russia would probably support the red team. But I'm not going to give Russia direct involvement. Why would I not? Because Russia can't get directly involved, nor can Ukraine. Why can't they get involved? Well, there's something called a conflict, I guess. So they just support. And Russia isn't really in a good spot for supporting. So then Ukraine on the other side supports the other team, because why wouldn't they? It's likely Britain would support America. And Portugal, probably. And, well, actually, they're supporting Morocco, along with probably Canada. And I think Morocco was interested in buying an Iron Dome or something from Israel, which was a good idea at first. But when Israel decides to support, it causes a big spin in this region of the world. Whatever, I just supporting Morocco. But Tunisia decides to support America. America's side. Always does good. With Canada allowing American forces to dock in Canadian waters. With America mobilizing here. And then they send their forces over here. And they also send some here. But yeah, they're mobilized here. Whereas, eventually Cuba decides it's best interest to join this war, along with Venezuela. Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't it? And that's not Nicaragua, that's Honduras. And yeah, Everett is navally mobilized. They're starting to move forces across. Why are they taking such a long route from here? Because, you know, some reason. With them even mobilizing the navy in Portuguese waters, which has Spain angered at the sight of encirclement and starvation, basically, as they are cut off from the world's markets. But, as we know, Morocco takes advantage of the few thousand American forces that start arriving, and they're directly sent to the front lines. But a few thousand of those, like, let's say 50,000, are staying behind the front lines, training Moroccan troops to use, like, American weaponry. Even though I'm pretty sure Morocco uses a lot of Western military equipment. With the war starting to get nations to support a side, which might lead to more tension. Maybe. We don't know. I don't know much about a lot of continents, but I know Kenya would probably support America. I would say Egypt most likely will support not the red team. That doesn't make any sense. I would say, honestly, they would support this. Which leaves Ethiopia with little decisions but to do that. I'm pretty sure most of the East African Federation nations are pretty pro-America. Zambia is pretty pro-America, I guess. And South Sudan, Sudan would probably be joining this side. That makes no sense. I guess Eritrea would join this side because that's the side Russia's supporting. And, you know, it's a mess from here. I'm guessing Djibouti wouldn't support a side, because chances are at this point China is supporting them, which brings us the Cold War situation in our modern geopolitics to be seen by everyone in the world. Let's hope it doesn't escalate. I think it might escalate. It will escalate in the continent of Africa if it happens. I don't know where else it could escalate. One of those. I guess Pakistan might support China, but I'm going to say they stay neutral. Why? Because they would. Unless India gives them a reason not to. With most in the West probably going to support them. I'm going to give France to support America, because that's what I think. Actually, I'm going to leave them out. They might decide, no, we're not going to help. And countries like Romania would probably support Spain and Greece. Why? Because of the geopolitics of this region of the world. Largely would lead this, I would assume. Because Spain doesn't recognize Kosovo, and neither do these countries. And then Hungary, I think, might support one or the other team. Don't know, really, honestly. Because they're pretty pro-Russia, and Russia is pro-Algeria. And the Baltics, we all know where the Baltics are helping, and we probably can guess who Finland is helping. And we can probably guess who Belarus is now helping. Yeah. I did tell you the geopolitics of the world is pretty Cold War-ish. But why are countries in Central... I would say Brazil would support the blue team. Don't know why. And meanwhile, Peru, I'm just going to leave out of what side they support. If there's not a color, that doesn't mean they're not supporting a side, but they're not marked as supporting a side, if that makes any sense. As America attempts Bay of Pigs 2.0, which, let's see how that goes. Okay, looks like it's going to go pretty well. Bay of Pigs 2.0 happens. And there's nothing we can do about it. With America sending a big part of its military into Cuba, which leads to that. Cuba falls. And let's go back to Europe. It's not like much would happen here anyways. It's all weak nations, you know. And let's go back to Morocco. Who makes a counteroffensive? A surprise counteroffensive. And well, they decide to disorganize the forces here. They go here and here in two narrow fashions. Which causes people to chaotically retreat. For some reason. Yeah, they chaotically retreat. Oh. With some chunks of the Algerian army even forced to retreat. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what Morocco achieved by doing this strategy. But is it going to work? Maybe not so well. But it did work. Very well. And it even continued. As forced into this war. I'm going to try to keep the scale smaller. With Libya basically being forced into the war. With Egypt then joining the war. And Kenya decides to join, with Israel deciding to join. Oh my god. I did not know it would flare right up on every front. Known to man. With a lot of the rest of the world just saying, yeah, they don't need war. Ever I knew this was going to happen. With it, likely Somalia would help them, the Americans now. But as I'm saying, Somalia, is there really Somalia? No, it doesn't exist. What? Well, it does exist, but I'm saying that in no way. With Russia wondering if they should get involved in China. But I don't think you should. And this is mostly about Spain invading Morocco. With Spain being a significant military. But America would regret giving them good equipment now. With American forces that were, with Tunisia not ready for this conflict. This might be the only front with really naval fighting. With Libya quickly after this fully mobilizing its navy. Why? Because they can. And why is Ethiopia and Sudan on the same team? I never thought that would happen. Honestly, really? That doesn't make sense. And Eritrea and Ethiopia, I'm pretty sure they're don't like each other. And yeah. Of course this noise happens. Yeah. Really, no big deal. And yeah, really, now look at the world. We all blown up. Russia's debating whether to get involved, but they do know they are in an active conflict. I hope they know that. But Russia's saying that the West has caused this war, which in no way is true. Who started the war? Well, the West did start the war. And who fought the war? The West. God, yeah. I never thought I'd do this kind of video wherever I turns on each other. With Israel ready to take out Hezbollah in Lebanon. With the West saying that if Russia does dare to enter this war, there will be consequences. But, you know what Russia does? They enter this war anyways. And they finally get Belarus to help them out. And yeah, one sec. This war, only one problem for Ukraine. There's not as much Western support, because this war has divided the West. I hope it doesn't actually happen like that. With Russia storming in. Oh wait, they were already here. Storming in. I like how I said it like that, even though they're just entering land they already had. Yeah. But Belarus starting a campaign in from the north. And why is Russia having so much success? Because, well, they are. But countries like Romania say we're not getting involved in this war directly at all, ever. With Egypt having a few battle defeats. With Libyan forces crossing the border, but they don't really take anything of use. But Sudan, on the other hand, does. But Egypt's navy has managed to defeat Hezbollah's navy and Syria's. What a surprise. And actually, that's Lebanon, I mean. But as we know, Iran supports Lebanon. They support Syria, and they use Iraq to support Syria, you know. With Syria taking Damascus. And this is with American support, but really it's more Saudi Arabian support, because look at Saudi Arabia's campaign. With a lot of the Sunni areas of Iraq supporting Saudi Arabia for some reason. It's not like Iraq is basically in a religious proxy war. Yeah. And then Turkey says, well, the Kurds attacked me. I declare war. And America's like, fine. That's what it takes to get you involved. That's what it does. With Azerbaijan and Georgia and Armenia getting involved. But the only problem here is that Iran and Russia were planning an invasion, along with Armenia, of Azerbaijan, so all their forces were ready. And Russia just continues its campaign into Georgia, with Turkey getting embarrassed on the battlefield right away. And yeah. But Turkey does something that makes its people happy. They create a 30-kilometer buffer zone in Syria. Yes, yeah, that's good. But this kind of world. Ethiopia eventually basically says, yeah, we're leaving this war. No, they didn't actually leave yet. But their role is very slim to none. While in the New World, this happened. Oh, okay, that's good, America. In America, since their full armies in. With them even managing to get Portugal to actually go into the war. Which, automatically, Britain would get involved. Why? But the Baltics say they will join the war directly. And so does Finland and Poland. Huh? How come all the haters of Russia just all teamed up? So now Russia's officially at war with Eastern Europe. No, they're not. The Baltics are. But these guys then say, well, due to Russia's aggressive actions against Moldova, you know what Romania decides to do? As Russia storms into the Baltics. This would be easy for Russia, I guess. Except they do need a must. With Romania basically saying we declare war on Russia. With all of the NATO members doing it. And, well, I guess it turned to World War III. With Poland starting an offensive in Ukraine and an offensive in Lithuania. And then they decide, yeah, let's do what we would always do, and decide to take Kaliningrad. And then they move into Byelorussia, along with Ukraine. Oh, that's good for you guys. And, well, Finland kicks Russia snow cold. And yeah, what does Egypt do? Well, Egypt turns the war on their favor. Why? Because they do that. And well, Ethiopia is in a bad spot because they want to get out of the war as they are getting invaded by Somalia, who wants Greater Somalia back, and they're motivated, along with Kenya and South Sudan invading. But something weird happens. I mean, very weird. It's not like it happened before. Well, they kick them out, and they kick them out. And then they basically say, we are ready to leave this war. Which the world sees as Ethiopia just getting away from losing land. Which really is popular. Within the drive, they go for a naval offensive in these waters. And then they go for another one in these waters. Why is Europe not having their naval dominance shown? Because, well, they pretty much do that. How do they manage to do that? Well, they didn't actually take all of that. I'm going to color out what they don't navally occupy. No, it's just for simplicity reasons I colored it all. And yeah, it looks like only Greece, mainland Greece, is in the war. Very interesting. Wouldn't you guys agree? With the East supporters in trouble. But Russia launches a blow to Ukraine as they storm these areas with like 2 million conscripts. Oh, as if that would work so well. With them even managing to get by Istanbul. And they head towards Ankara on the other front. But Turkey does something very ingenious. They do this. But then they see how Morocco had success in one of their counterattacks. They try to replicate it. Where do they do that? In a big area, in all of its territory. They move here, here fast, here fast, here fast, and they move in fast, like that. Them doing this and managing to do that. Yeah, this went well for them. As Turkey disrupts them and manages to push them back to there. Eventually they push into Georgia, and they push Iran out of their territories. With Russia trying to obliterate Ukraine now, but they're never going to do that because I don't think they ever could. They don't have the muscle. And with Germany and Poland launching a replication of that attack. But with it happening so much, it's starting to get hard to take track of. With them even doing this and that. It's a very risky way of doing it, I mean. But it succeeds again. Maybe that's what happens when you keep building the bridge in the same spot. You can't get across. With Turkey starting an offensive here. With Ukraine basically saying, we have an offensive. And they do that. And yeah, they collapse them. With Russia in shambles as Ukraine broke all front lines. With them even kicking them out of the north. And with them having broke all the defensive lines, there's only one problem. And what is that? Oh, no, 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 no. Really? Does this have to happen, guys? Well, look. Guess what time of year it is? Can you guess what time of year it is, guys, in Russia? At this time, again? And yeah, they even succeed. What did they just do in Finland? But that Kaliningrad doesn't fall for some reason. But Poland and Ukraine being slashed. But, you know what? This is just Russia hanging out too much with someone. This offensive collapses completely, guys. As Russia is forcibly kicked out of most of Ukraine. Within days, I mean. They even take back this area. With them then having success here and even in the Russia. Or timeline they would. And yet, well, Russia's now trying to find a way out. Why wouldn't they? I mean, you did lose a big chunk of land, with Ukraine taking the last-ditch attempt to destroy Russia, which Russia tries to meet for peace negotiations, but somebody in the south decided, no, we're not ready to peace out, as they push into Georgia and they storm into Azerbaijan. Why didn't they take Armenia? Well, Russia just leaves the war. Japan and South Korea were so close to getting involved, guys, and they just leave. Oh. Okay. Which is smart, because now they don't have to suffer as much. But somebody moves into Russia and decapitates the leader. Yeah, something crazy like that. With Spain thinking their naval dominance will stick, but suddenly the Americans come and say, yeah, you're done with naval dominance. Why? Because we said so. With America starting a new offensive to decapitate Spain, basically. They're launching a decapitation strike. Whatever, that is fine. That's a way of getting a new government. With American forces storming out from Portugal along with British. Italians make a landing here. And all these offensives have the goal of taking Madrid, which they all meet at Madrid and take Madrid. And then, well, they put a different leader in. A more democratic Spanish leader, like Spain has, I guess. I don't know. With Spain being killed. Oh, but Spain is still fighting because they don't know they were killed. With them seeing this happen. And completely demoralized Spanish troops caused this to happen. And then, along with Algeria allowing it. They send peace to the red team, basically say, we'll return your borders to the normal, to Libya and Algeria, but why don't they accept it? With Egypt basically managing to do this to Sudan. Iran just basically says, yeah, we're done with this war, we'll meet for peace. But Turkey says, not so fast. As before they do peace, this happens. But before they sign peace, they decide to raid into Iraq. With them basically saying, yeah, we're out of this war now. We will sign peace with you. With the Persian Gulf then being taken over. But this is after Iran was just overthrown, just to let you know, today. No, in this video it was overthrown, yeah. Probably 2024 now in this video. So let's watch them collapse. One at a time. And Sudan, unable to keep this war going, collapses. Algeria leaves the war, but Libya's civil war erupts again. With them basically taking the country over. And now peace is very much possible. And we will go through one piece of peace while the video is still going. Well, that gets annexed by America. Now, I have a few treaties to sign, but before I can sign any, this is going to happen. And yeah, guys, Canada was involved in this war, even though I didn't color it in. But Canada didn't really contribute much. And while Serbia and Greece and China lost a significant proportion of their land to South Sudan. Egypt extends all the way into Eritrea now, all of a sudden. And yeah, they didn't annex their lands yet. What? Egypt? Are you crazy? And pro-American governments installed in Libya, Sudan, and other countries such as Syria, Iraq, or Mesopotamia is what they call it. Turkey gained land from Syria, and so did Israel. Wait, did they just unite? Oops. One sec, guys. We need to show an accurate map of what happened. We can't lie. And something like that. Yeah, it annexed Lebanon's lands. Azerbaijan annexed some of Iran's land. Yeah. Iran gained land from Iraq. Armenia lost its southern tail to Azerbaijan. Kuwait gains land from Iraq. And then, well, let's get rid of the countries we've went through who've annexed land in Africa, because we already done them. The EAF is doing something. Well, some other countries are bound to do annex lands. Like Finland gained Kola Peninsula and some lands from Russia besides Claria. And Estonia and Latvia gained land from Russia. Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, and Ukraine all gained land from Belarus. But now we need to go to Spain, which doesn't have its treaty signed yet. Which, this is a treaty between these guys. And yeah, some guys decide to occupy it. The same guys. And no, that does not include Catalonia. Catalonia's right there. Well, Britain decides it's best for them to occupy these lands. Italy occupies these lands. Portugal occupies these lands. Morocco occupies these lands. And America occupies the rest. So, kind of like what happened in my alternate future, the World Series in part 33 with Germany getting peace. Yeah. And well, America has finally decided what to do with Venezuela. They're going to let for a while. They annex Nicaragua and Cuba. But they make Venezuela their puppet state, which is mean. And you guys should really subscribe, because these videos are fun to make, I know. And fun to watch, I bet. But you need to subscribe, because more subscribers better. We're at 115. That's 60 away from 175, our goal by February 1st. But there probably won't be as many videos in, not next week, but the week after, because I have 3 exams. So it might be 2 days, every 2 days. Next week. Not next week, the week after, in 2 weeks. So, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Why? Because I told you why. Because you should subscribe so we can get to 175 subscribers by February 1st. Our goal. We're going to start doing monthly goals, as I probably told you 100,000 times. Even though I didn't make 100,000 videos. But you should really subscribe. And that's all for today's video. Wild Mapper out!